नमस्कार मॅडम.
Okay, hello everyone. I think we have only 5 participants right now. Are we waiting for others?
I think we should start. Otherwise, also we are having the recording. They can see it later on. But
Okay, sure. Are we planning to come on camera? Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I hope you all are fine. How was your day so far?
all good, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagannath ji. How many of you are really feeling sleepy? And if not,
No,
Can I-
not at all. Not at all.
not at all. So thanks for that. Can I see you on camera then? Is it a regular practice? Then all of you are not on camera.
It is an internet problem, so it is
Is
not a
it for
practice,
everyone?
at least for me.
Okay. What about others? I think Advani ji is trying to connect for a long time. His audio is not connecting. Okay, so rather than wasting more time on waiting for others, as Jagannath ji already suggested, they can always go through the video recording if they are not getting time to attend it. Let's start the discussion about talent management. What is that we discussed last time? We just discussed the overview. We just talked about why it is important, in what forms organizations are using it. Today, let's focus on the strategic aspect of that. Did you all get your books already?
No, madam, I have not yet received. I received a lot of books, a set of books, but instead of sending talent management, they have sent me one book twice. So
Oh.
indeed, it is needed to manage the talent of senders. And,
I have
Okay.
not received my books.
You have not received any books?
No, not yet.
Okay. And how do we pronounce your name? Indrila.
Madam, can you please share this PDF or any
Yeah.
study material?
So I asked Sarita last time that even if you don't, if you are not able to send them hard copy, send the soft copy immediately. So if she has not, I'll again check with her today. Can I send it from my end? Because the thing is, I don't have your mail IDs. I don't have your phone numbers even. I think they have some group, but what I'll do, I'll ask her to at least share that on WhatsApp group, because all of you have a WhatsApp, it seems. So she can.
or or if you can share your number or email ID to us, at least we can get it. But otherwise,
I'm surprised why I don't have your email IDs and your phone number, and why don't you have my email ID or phone number? Because it's a very simple practice. So anyways, I'll just put it in chat window today, and
thank you.
that's how probably we can connect. No worries. Yes, so let's focus on the strategic aspect. Since you don't have book, I can't ask you that, this is already given in the book. If you go to the second chapter, you'll find out how the strategies are, how different strategies are aligned with the function. We started calling it talent management, right? So there are 6 as per Blas. He has written a paper. In his paper, he has talked about, in 2009, his paper was published. He has talked about 6 perspectives of using talent management, right? So the idea is to improve organization from the strategic perspective. So there are 6 different perspectives he has explored in his writing. He says organizations may focus on strategic perspective, on process perspective, on cultural perspective, competitive perspective, developmental perspective, HR planning, and change management. 7. So 7 perspectives he has explained. What does it mean when we talk about, and when organizations want to focus on a strategic perspective or to say process perspective, right? What is the difference? So we want to implement talent management in our system. Aims or objectives for every organization can be different. It's not that it's a one shoe fit style. You are using talent management, but your focus on certain aspects will shift based on your objective as your organization. Probably your organization is already having a very good processes set in your organization, right? They are not looking for that help from talent management. They want to use talent management probably more from the developmental perspective. And what does it mean when we are talking about these different perspectives? So let's say strategic perspective, what he has defined, he says, if organizations focus is more on the key positions in the organization, right? you can't, and I think last time somebody was asking that question, how we should identify I think Advani ji asked that question, how we should identify the right talent, right? So we, rather than answering this, and probably, when we progress in our session today, we will focus more on that aspect. But yes, Jagannath ji, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, I think if the organization has proper definition of the role or the job or proper description, then I think it will be very easy for any organization to identify the people also who can suit into or who can fit into that. But mainly what I feel or I have observed is that the proper definition or proper description of the job, the scope of duties, responsibilities, functions are not documented properly. And that is probably the reason why we are not able to identify the resources, human resources, to make them fit into those particular jobs. Thank you.
And thank you for bringing this, Jagannathji. So you said there can be a chance where organization is not able to identify or put their job descriptions properly, right? So where are they lacking? It means they are lacking in their processes itself, right? So when you want to focus on talent management, probably your first focus will be on setting up your right processes. Right processes in terms of, do you have a right job description ready when you are looking out for a talent? Do you, even if you do that, do you have right format ready to interview that person? Do you have right panels decided, right? Who all, what all kind of rounds this person has to go through? Do you have that system developed? After that, do you have a right way of giving the feedback to your applicants? Even if they are not hired, do you connect back and say, okay, these are the reasons you were not hired, and then that's how you build the relationship with them for longer time. So all those can be the process aspects, right? So and that's where the first aspect which we are talking about, the perspective, strategic perspective, which is focusing mainly on the identifying the key positions. So you were talking about how they are not able to build the right description. I would rather go one step back and say, are you even able to identify which positions are really important for your organization, even if you have to compromise on certain aspects in terms of talent, because uh, everything is not available as you want in the market, right? Yes, Jagannathji, you raised your
Yeah,
hand.
I would like to add
And
one example for this job description, and it leads to some legal repercussions also, litigations also. Like say, for
right,
example, we have the post called as development officer, right? They are supposed to recruit the agents, and they are supposed to procure business, life assurance business through them. Now, in their appointment letter, we mentioned your job involves the recruitment and training of agents. So one person he recruited and trained them and just left them, and they were not doing any business. So then
mm,
he said, "Ki, no, it is not mentioned in my
that they have to
job
do
definition
business.
that to procure the business." So
Mhm.
this is very important. Again, it may be little distraction, but I will like to add it to since I had worked in IT department for long number of years, and we used to insist whatever programs or coding we used to do, we must document. We must have the notes of it, ki why the program was written, what it is going to serve the purpose and other things. The same should apply for HR perspective also. Ki,
Mm,
koi bhi job, any job you take, it should be very clearly defined, its role, its scope, its powers, functions, responsibilities, duties, everything. Otherwise, it become the popular case like anybody job, nobody, somebody, and everybody. So that
right.
happens. Thank you very much.
Right. You're absolutely right about that. And the interesting thing is, we think sometimes organizations who are running for years and years, they have all these processes set very well. But that's not the reality. Sometimes you go back and see organizations which are working for last 20, 30, 40 years in the market. They are not, because again, job description is not something which is defined once and then you stick with that. it regularly evolves, right? So you may see at some point it was not your requirement to mention that they also have to do business. At some point you were very clear that, okay, whoever is trained and hired or got into the business, they automatically start doing business. So you don't need to put that point for those agents. But later you realize that that's not the case. So did you immediately go back and update that or not? So that's equally important. So those all examples what you are talking about are mainly touching to the process part of that, right? So some organizations may start focusing on talent management from the process perspective as well, because the processes are still not in place. But as I was talking about, I am talking about one step back and saying, do you even identify the key positions for that? Even if you're not able to do all this exercise for all the positions, every requirement coming up, you at least do it. You at least know that, okay, these are the key positions, these are the key key people for my organization. Am I able to create a complete system for them or not? So when I say that, let me have some understanding of your businesses. You all are working in different kind of organizations. What are the key positions you think are there in your organization? Like if I take the example of my organization, so I work for a data analytics company, and we work for e-commerce sector. So for us, the data engineers and the business analyst are two key positions. So without them, our business will not run, right? So we may adjust or we may compromise for other supporting roles or so, but we will not be able to compromise at all on these two positions if we talk about the data engineers or we talk about the business analyst, right? So that way, I want to hear from your side, in your organization, what do you think are the key positions? And if your organization is really focusing, and they have to, in fact, but what do you see? Are they really focusing from every perspective, from the development perspective, from the hiring perspective, to those key positions or not? So can I hear you? And I see Advani ji is trying for a long time, but I think he's not able to connect. No idea what's happening. Yes, Jagannath ji, please go ahead.
Like say, for example, ours is a life assurance company. So first and foremost, what is required is the actuary. That is the person who is well versed in the actuarial science, that is science of insurance. That is the foremost key post. One should be, one is required to define it properly, number one. Along with that, it is also required that it should commensurate, it should fit to the market when the product can be sold. बिकॉज ठीक है, एक्चुअली ने अपने ऑफिस में बैठ के प्रोडक्ट बनाया, बट वो बाजार में बिकता है कि नहीं बिकता है, दैट इज ऑल्सो रिक्वायर्ड. सो इट शुड बी लिंक्ड विद द marketing people as well. So two things I think are important for any organization, and particularly for my organization also, that is the product development and marketing of it. So in the morning also we were talking about the change management. In that also I mentioned that in order to create the pull, instead of pushing the product, it is required to create the pull. And that is why I mentioned in the morning that KYC, we are calling it KYC, know your customer. So you must know your customer, not only for the document purpose, but for his needs, wants, and whether the product can be sold to them, can suffice to provide to their needs. So I think for my organization, two key positions: product development and marketing of it. Thank you.
Okay. And precisely you call that actuary officer, right?
That is the science of insurance, actuarial science. So we call it
Actuary.
actuary, ACTUAR. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that and giving us that knowledge. Okay, what about others companies? Which business you're coming from, and what do you think are the key positions to run that business? Yes, Andrela, you are on mute.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. So I come from Kolkata, and I come from a manufacturing organization, and we are into a business where our business is divided into three major verticals: power transmission distribution, EPC, and PVC. So in our business, as per my information goes, design engineering is a very vital positions where they are designing for towers and poles, and engineering procurement, construction sections, and PVC pipes. Another important phase is and another important positions is production, because we are producing as well as we are marketing, selling the products as well. So production is also another key features. Marketing, international, domestic marketing parts are also important. Finance is also important because we will have to arrange for finance for running the business, and at the same time,
Sorry
commercials.
sorry to stop you here, Andrila. So that way, I think every business will run because of, every position. And
Yeah.
whenever we talk about, jobs and job roles in the organization, I always say that every job has equal importance, and that's why that job is created. Otherwise, no businessman will pay to, any employee without any reason. But, and that's where we get confused. We think that every position, then you have to identify as a key position. My aim here is to ask one position. So if let's take example that we are a hospital, right? One role without that hospital cannot be run at all. What is that position? What is that role? Key role? Doctors, right? So if we start
But here in my organization, if I only say my design engineers are only the key positions, and if I'm not taking productions and marketing, then my organization will not function. So these are also important to me.
Right. I understand that. Till there it was fine, but when you say finance and HR, and so all those roles are important. All those departments are important for organization, and that's why they are there. But the focus has to be on those key roles or key positions. Without them, the business will not run at all. There were days when we were running without HR. Most of the manufacturings, they were running without HR. The line manager was responsible to hire, to decide what pay should be given, to pay also, right? Those were the days. As we are growing, we have started giving importance to support functions, and all those functions are equally important. But every business has some key aspects related to with some key positions. So I'm not saying like I'm also not comprehending which are the key positions for your organization. But my aim here is to bring everybody's focus again onto the same point, that please focus, if you are in HR, even if you are in development, if you are in L&D, again, our focus should not divert to every other function when we are not able to. If we have bandwidth in terms of resources and time and energy, definitely we should focus on all the positions. But to be more strategic, how you focus to develop those key positions is important. And before we reach to that aspect of developing them, identifying them is important, right? So please go ahead. I just wanted to complete my point, but
yeah. But then in that case, are you mentioning that we will not look for retaining talent for other positions as well, apart from this key position?
so that's what I said. If we have resources, if we have time, if we have energy, if we are able to do that, we need to focus each and every position in the organization. But if you think there is a cutthroat competition in the market, we are not able to bring what we really want to bring into the organization, then your focus has to shift on those key positions. So if you have not identified that, probably you are focusing on the wrong, or not wrong things, but not that important things. So you say, okay, retention is important, and that's where my complete focus is right now. And probably the attrition is more in my HR department, right? That's why my focus is more to retain people in HR department. That's fine. Maybe your attrition rate in HR is 20% right now, whereas for your design engineers, it is 10% or 5%. Where do you want to focus?
Obviously, where the attrition is more, maximum attrition is area.
So you want to work on HR retention.
Of course, I mean, as of now, if my attrition is higher on that area, I would be working on this area.
Not hard.
And
Yeah,
I
not,
will always work on other areas, but in comparison to other areas, I'll keep my focus on HR part.
so what is that other area? That's where I said your design engineers are going 5%, but your HR is going 20%. Who should be your focus for retention?
HR, obviously. Attrition,
Okay.
if attrition is higher on HR, in that case, HR.
What about others? What do you think about that? Let's hear others. What do you think about that? If we go with a
Will
very
you please
simple
repeat?
example,
Will you
if
please
we go,
repeat the question?
yeah, if we go with a very simple example of Andrila's company, we see that the attrition rate right now in HR is 20%, whereas in design engineers, it is 5 to 10%. Where should be your focus for retention? And you immediately have to make some plans for retention, some policy you have to bring out. Who should be your target audience?
No, but madam, it is very difficult to replace the people, right? When we recruit the people, we need to train them also to make them fit for the job.
No, all that is
So
fine. All that we are doing, that's all fine,
No,
Jagannath. Oh, the case right now is only this much. And when we solve case studies, we don't go beyond information, right? So the information is only this much, that for your organization, where if we go with that design engineer is a key position in your organization, so you have 20% attrition rate in your HR department, you have 5 to 10% attrition rate in your design engineers. Who will be your focus for retention?
still, madam, key positions. It is required to hold the key positions. Uh, the positions which can be easily replaced, which can be easily rotated, we need not pay much attention to those. But like you mentioned about the design people, so those are the much more skilled people. And if any one of them wants to exit the organization, it will be very difficult for the company to move ahead. So my contention is you need to define the key position and to focus on the key position. Even if the attrition rate is lower in those, we need to pay more attention. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Any other ideas? Yes, Prashant.
Yeah, ma'am, I think see basically the organization is run by the business, and basically the business here is the design engineers who are doing it, and they are the revenue generator. When I compare to HR team, then maybe support team, which can be part of me, they also plays an important role because they are the one who will be hiring the people. So
Right.
both plays important role, but again, if you look at the business front, definitely the design engineers would be at the first preference compared to the HR.
And I repeat my sentence. If you have resources, energy, time, everything in place, definitely each and every employee should be your focus. But when we are talking about the scarcity of resources, when we know that we have a limited pie to share with different groups or different departments, who should be your focus? What do you think now, Andrila? Do you still have same thought, or do you think there is some logic behind focusing more on key positions for any business? I think Prashant clearly said that there are certain positions which are revenue generated for you, right? For your
So same,
organization.
madam. We need to prioritize.
We need to
It is
prioritize.
required that we need to prioritize. And then, of course, the key positions would come upper. Thank you.
Andrila, over to you. What do you think?
Yeah, got that. Thank you.
Okay. And I think there is the role for talent management, right? If it is so simple, because from our side, we are only thinking best for the organization. You were right when you come with this approach that 20% people are going out from HR. My focus should definitely be there. So as an HR, as a human, human oriented department, your focus is right. I'm not saying that you're wrong. but the strategic aspect. And that's where we miss out on the strategy part of HR, right? So if you want to focus on the strategic aspect, you cannot all the time focus on each and every position because resources are always scarce. You don't have, abundant resources. You always have to focus on key positions. And that's where the whole function, like if you're thinking about recruitment, you're thinking about the performance, L&D, retention, where your focus should go immediately. Without them, you cannot run your business. That's the aim of talking about this aspect. But it does not mean that, and there is another approach when we come to the another approach that talks about the HR planning perspective that focuses that the whole HR function for each and everyone. So maybe for that organization who does not want to look from strategic perspective, talent management is not a solution for the strategy for them. They want to use talent management for probably HR functioning or HR planning perspective, then it can be different. So that's where he has given 7 different perspectives. And as I said, the perspectives will change as per your objective or as per your requirement as an organization at that particular time. Probably you have not at all seen that scenario in your organization where design engineers are leaving and organization is suffering, and that's where you are not able to gaze that problem currently, right? But when organizations are going through that, they know that these are the key people for us, but they are leaving every time a new design engineer is joining and just staying for 1 year and then leaving, and and business is suffering because of that. Your focus will change completely. Then you probably may not be able to think about any other department or people because you're suffering right now because of that particular reason, right? So that's where the perspectives will change.
Perspective, and in my case, it might be my succession planning are good. They are good in place. So my second line is always ready. So I do not have to face that kind of problem.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
that can be also there.
Right. So that's what I said. If organization is already ready with something, Jagannath ji was talking about that organizations do not even have JD ready, right? So JD nahi hai, what we are talking about all other things, right? So then their focus will be first on this HR planning perspective. So all the HR functions are perfect in my organization or not. Basic requirements when we say, you're hiring somebody or you don't have your JD ready, are already in place or not. So you are talking about succession planning part, right? And in HR planning, when we come to the HR planning perspective, that's one point there. When you will get your book, you will read out that succession, even if they are already ready with the succession planning, but their focus, like organizations who are not able to do that, their focus is more on how they keep each and every function in such a way aligned where their succession plan is also available for them, right? So if that's not your pain, then you will not look for that solution, right? So where your focus should go. So I said a strategic perspective where the key positions are all the time in the mind and all the planning around those key positions. Then we go to the second thing, which is process perspective. There the aim is to optimizing the processes. You are on mute, Andrila. Are you talking?
Sorry. Yeah, I just would like to bring another light towards this point. Like my key positions can be my niche position as well, which is not very common, the rare position in the industry.
Yes, and those are key positions, right? The talent will not be easily available. Your competitors are sitting there to take them, right? So that's where your focus is on them. And your business will not run without them. Yeah. So you can say niche all the time. We can't say that those will be niche all the time, right? Probably lots of those businesses are available there, and those positions are those applicants are there in the market in abundance. We are not saying they're always rare, but those are important for you for sure, right? To run your business. Yeah. So the another perspective is process perspective, where, as I said, setting up the processes, right? Processes are there or not. I think in last class also we were talking about now organizations are focusing on creating experiences. We started having the head of employee experiences or people experiences and so on. So this is all about the process perspective. Are your processes set or not, which can really create some kind of experience for from your applicant to your employee who is leaving your organization, right? So each and every process is set or not. The right JD was sent to the person or not before the person applied for that, right? Once they apply, what all processes we have set for their application. Some organizations you will find is so jumbled, you don't understand where, even if they put their jobs on career page or somewhere, you don't know how you should apply for those jobs. In some organizations it is so quick, so simple. You just have to very simple example, if any one of you have applied any job through LinkedIn, right? So some organizations put um, easy apply. I think that's the word they use in LinkedIn.
Yeah, easy apply.
Yeah, and somewhere you will find apply, right? And even if you click apply, then you go to their Workday page.
And then they will go to their website, and then you will have to create a login credential, and then you will have
Right.
to apply. It will take long time, and the candidate will drop in between.
So
He or
simple.
she will lose all the patience. Yeah.
Yeah, and very simple. At the end of the day, what you will check, you will just see their resume.
Yeah.
And then only you will start the process. Then why so much hustle? Why so much, struggle for the person who is applying? You can simply put easy, and in easy apply itself, you can ask 2-3 questions and just resume. And then when you filter the resume, then probably you go for all these longer steps, how many years, this, that, here. What is the reason somebody wants to apply for a job when you have such a long process for that? So this is all about creating the experience and creating the processes in your organization, which will become the experience for the employees, for the applicants, and so on, right? So even after once they apply, what's the process and how many do you even let them know? And now organizations, when especially advanced organizations, they have started focusing on these things. Even if the resume is rejected, they will immediately send you a mail that, okay, your resume was great, but did not match to the position and all. So again, you are creating a connect. You are creating a experience for the person who has applied for that job, right? So that, and even organizations will come back and send you mails later that there is another position. Do you want to apply for that? So all these are examples of processes. Once the applicant is not selected, do you have a courtesy to say, give a feedback, say that, okay, this was the reason you were not. Why anybody does not deserve a reason? Is there any reason somebody should not know why I'm not selected? No. And especially for the senior positions, right? Again, going back to the key position part, when you do that, even with the senior people, they apply to your organization, they go through lots of interviews and all, and at the end you don't even have you probably send a mail saying that you're not selected, but why not the feedback? Yes, Jagannath ji.
Yeah, like you mentioned about the right to know, it comes under the right to information also. And people do file the applications by paying 10 rupees, give hi, I am not done and I have got the right to information. So it comes
Right.
under the fundamental right as well. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. But people generally don't want to go to that hustle and all. So they feel, okay, theek hai, chhod do. Nahi kiya to nahi kiya. But then you are leaving an impression, right? Person is clear, yaar, yahan itna bhi nahi batate. I'm not interested to apply for this organization any time, any next time, right? So are you creating that or not? You may feel, oh, it's going to take lots of time. You may feel why it is needed, but all these things are talking about your processes, how you are creating the experience with the applicant to the employee and to employee when the employee is leaving your organization, even that last day, right? Why do you need to have exit interview? All these things may sound fancy to some organizations.
We
Yeah.
do have exit interview. The process is, once your resignation is being accepted by your HOD, and your NOC is cleared, in that case, HOD and along with location HR or HR head, we sit for exit interview to understand why the employee is leaving the organizations, what are the areas of challenge where we can make improvement, and if there is any scope to retain the employees. Yes, of course, if there is a good thing for the employee, when he or she is separating from the organization, nobody is going to stop him. If the organization is, if the other organization's offer is better than us, but then again, if there is something where we can work, we always come up for solution and discussion. That is there in my organization. We do it for assistant manager level and above, not for shop floor people, but then again, it is a practice.
Nice, nice. Thanks for sharing that. But yeah, again, not every organization has that. And even if they have, just to put a tick mark, okay, this is all we are following. So sometimes it is just to have that tick mark, or to have it in the list, not really leveraging it to create that connection. You are on mute.
Yes, I just would like to mention another thing. We have another 3 months interview survey as well. The key positions who are leaving in our organization, we reach out to them post 3 months of their leaving, and we ask them whether they are comfortable with their present organizations or they are having any planning to return in the organization after some days. 6 months is a period which we keep in our domain. So we reach out to them to understand if they are comfortable and if they are having any planning for returning to our organization as per their convenience, obviously.
Very
If
nice.
there
Very nice.
are nice offerings from us. So that is also there.
Thanks for sharing that, Andrila. And please let us know the name of your company. How many of us really want to apply for that now?
I am working with Skipper Limited. That's a Kolkata-based organizations, and I have mentioned that we are into tower transmission and distribution.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Thanks for sharing that. I was just joking, but yeah, it's good that if they have processes in place. Yes, Jagannathji.
Such exit interviews are essential also from the point of view of the organization also, whether they need to change any HR policy or like that. Means
Right.
why people are leaving, whether they are leaving because of the good opportunities, better opportunities are available, or because they are leaving because there are no opportunities or whatever. Means it is very much required to have the exit interview, not just as a ritual, but as a process, as a requirement, not as a ritual. Thank you.
That's what I said. Are we just ticking one more,
Exactly.
line item, or we have it? So I was just coming to that, Jagannathji. You brought the right point. That
I just would like to mention one other thing, like Jagannathji, what you have mentioned, that HR policies also need a correction. But that feedback we usually gather in my organization. We have a 90 days induction survey. That survey we float post an employee joins our organization post 90 days of his or her joining, just to understand if everything is going good with him or her, or
so
any change is
that's
needed.
also, yeah, that's also another part, another part of processes. Will come to that. But before joining itself, what we are doing, and then when we were talking about exit interview, and then he said, Jagannathji said that not just as an line item, but how you are taking other inputs as well. So there is always possibility. And do you really know, whoever is doing exit interview, do they really know what kind of questions you need to ask? Because every employee, and even if you go for a survey, you'll find 90% of your employees will say for better opportunity or higher education. Underneath it can be the reason can be manager as well, right? There is a possibility, and again, not talking about your organization, Andrila, but in general, there is a possibility that manager is a big reason for that. But nobody wants to spoil.
And many a time, truth will not also come.
Yeah,
Many a time it might happen that truth will not also come.
So
and
it will
there
not
is the
come.
Beauty of the interview when you are sitting across the candidate, across the employee, and you're talking to them. You want to understand what is the exact reason, what he has written. Is it the reason for leaving the organization for him or her? That is also
Right.
there.
So always they will not tell you the exact reason, but as HR, as an expert of interview, do you know what kind of questions you are asking? Do you have those leading questions where you try to get, some idea of what's happening in the organization? So anyways, we were talking about the processes, so how the processes can be prospective for another organization. Is every organization using all that? I am not sure, not really, right? Still organizations are struggling to put their processes in place. Then cultural perspective. So another organization can be there who are very clear that we have right processes. We know how to identify the key positions. We have the complete strategic focus on our key positions. But for them, talent management can be a tool for building a culture, right? Building a culture, the open culture, the development culture, they, they leave their employees free. We talk from the L&D perspective. Most of us are learning from the L&D perspective, all these courses. If we talk about the L&D perspective, how, how talent management is supporting your employees to be free what they want to learn, right? So giving that freedom itself is about creating the culture in the organization. Sometimes you have very fixed agenda from L&D side, and most of the organizations are suffering with this phenomena these days. They have so nowadays we have started focusing on persona based learning, right? So we decided that, okay, we'll identify different personas. We'll have these, we'll have, the product engineers, we'll have another group of freshers, we'll have another group of people managers, we'll have the group of individual contributors. So these are different personas for us. And then we will design all the training programs based on the personas. And then we feel, okay, we have become strategic. Even under those personas, it is not necessary that everyone is having similar need, right? So if you are designing programs, suppose for your design engineers, not necessarily everybody is on the same page. So are we going to the next level and trying to identify what exactly is their requirement? Do they even want to sit in those classrooms trainings which we are planning for them? Or they have their own way of learning, and they are already above others, and that's where they don't need those 12 hours or 15 hours design of the program. Probably they can quickly go and refer something in 1 hour and 2 hours spending on a new technology, learning through on their own pace, and then quickly completing that. Then why do we need to put them for those 12 hours or 15 hours or programs or so? So are we going to that level or not? So giving that freedom of development, right? Not that you have to finish these many hours. And there are organizations who have those KRAs set for their employees, that you have to complete these many hours. Why? You have to understand the requirement of the person. But again, I'm saying every organization may have a different perspective while they are looking at the talent management, right? So talent management also provide them this opportunity of focusing on cultural perspective, that mindset, creating a mindset. Then another aspect can be competitive perspective. So competitive perspective is very simple. You want to offer, you want to tap to the market. Whatever you want to do, you are doing it because lots of competition is there around, right? So as you were talking about niche role or rare, may not be rare, may not be niche sometime, but you also know that how this role is important for me. This role is equally important for my competitors. Are my competitors doing something better than me to attract this talent? Am I losing out on some points which my competition is not, right? So focusing on those aspects, what my competitors are doing, or trying to do something before your competitors do that, or winning over your competitors. Your aim of using talent management is winning over your competitors. So any thoughts on that? And what happened? Others are sleeping behind the camera, or what's happening? I want to hear some more voices. Last time lots of people were talking, but today it seems it's like it's 3 o'clock phenomena right now. Nobody is interested. They just want to enjoy behind the camera. I'm sure everybody is not having the bandwidth or network issue? Prashant, Nirja, Deepu, Daisy, Mohini, Monalisa. Advani ji, I don't know if he is able to hear our class or only his audio is not connected. If that is so, probably you can put it in the chat.
No, we were able to hear you, ma'am. We are able to hear. We are listening what you're saying, ma'am.
Okay, so do you want to contribute as well, Prashant?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, talent management plays an important role. So each and every organization have their own policy, terms, and conditions. So, and based on the business criticality, they will act upon it. But yeah, definitely we should take it what is the best practice happening in the industry and make sure that we follow it. And definitely the world is very competitive and we need to stay ahead from the other competitors. So we have to see what is the best we can take it ahead or implement on our organization based on the conditions.
Okay, thanks. And can you share what are the key positions in your organization? Which industry you belong to, and based on that, what are the key positions in your organization?
Okay, so let me explain which company I'm. So I'm working in a company called Lead SOC. It is into service-based industry, and we are catering to semiconductor industry. And the key position would be kind of a delivery manager or maybe a kind of program manager. So who will be front-ending at the client, and based on the interaction with the client, he or she will be able to get more kind of requirements to the organization. So according to me, I think the delivery managers would be the key person
Key
who are,
positions.
yes.
Okay, okay, thanks. Thanks for sharing that. What about you, Neerja? Are you there, Neerja? Deepu Sharma, can you share some thoughts? What are the key positions in your organization? I think we had some discussion last time, Daisy. So Daisy, do you have anything to share about your company?
Yeah, ma'am. As I told you all last time, I'm working for Simpson, which is a recent engine manufacturing company. And I would say that key positions in my company are all the technical front, which is like the in quality. We've got several divisions in quality departments, like the receiving, then the supplier, and the customer quality. And so those engineers, I mean, there are different gradations in the engineers. Like it goes from a senior engineer to a deputy division manager. So each of these technical people, I would say that they are all the key positions. So each department which has all the, I mean, key positions, I according to me, I would not say, I would not discriminate between a person who's doing a technical job or a support service. Anyways, everyone is a key person by himself or herself. So like in our company, I would say like as you were speaking about talent management, then the exit interview and things. Yes, there's a lots of attrition because of the market, and I mean there's lots of scope in the market for the technical people now. The salaries are very high, so there are different reasons, and we do have the practice of exit interview, and we so it's like that. Like all these processes which we are speaking about are in place in our organization.
Very nice. Thanks. Thanks for sharing that. Mohini. Mohini Joshi. That's fine, Nirja. I'm not asking you to be on camera. I just asked what are the key positions in your organization? If you can share something about that.
Sure, ma'am. I will do that. Ma'am, recently I just joined to a lemon tree hotel. It's a pre-opening hotel. It means that it's not open. It's not beyond operation. And we have a key position right now as a hotel. The housekeeping department is the housekeeper. He is the key it is a key position. Another one is the engineering department. It's a key position. It's a pre-opening stage, and after that, the human resources manager, and after that is the IT department, and then the store. Due to a reason, the building is a start, and now the room is already constructed, and the housekeeping
Neerja,
department they
Neerja,
Yes.
if we not talk specifically about that particular hotel, which is in a pre-opening stage, if you in general talk about hospitality and hotels, what are the key positions according to you?
My self, ma'am, there is a 4 key positions, 46 key positions. First is the human resources department, and another one is the finance department, and the 4 major core departments, like the front office department, housekeeping, production department, and service department.
Okay, thanks for
And
that.
since
Any
and the most important, sales and marketing, ma'am.
okay, okay. Thanks for that. Others, can you help me understand? I'm sure all of us have that understanding. What do you think? What are the key positions in a hospitality industry, or directly if we talk about the hotel industry? Anyone else has any thought on that?
Chefs for hotel industry.
Thanks for that, Jagannathji. Right? So if we are talking about the stay experience, housekeeping, and if we talk about the food, yes, Monali.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Actually, myself, Mona Lisa, I am now in manufacturing industry, but I have a previous experience in sales and marketing in hospitality industry. So I believe in hospitality industry, most important is that obviously, as Nija has correctly mentioned, because sales and marketing, because that is the only department which brings the revenue for the hospitality. And
Which
again,
department, Mona Lisa? We
sales
dropped
and
that, like your
marketing.
voice.
I first, ma'am, one for sales, director of sales. That is a very like head of sales department, and also branding, like corporate communication plays very important role for any hotel industry because that's create the image of the company. And also, ma'am, guest relations, which is very important. And ma'am, for hospitality industry, training play very important role because and also, ma'am, now in addition to that, now all the hotels are focusing much more in diversity and inclusion. So there is particular department they're coming up in DNI who are very much focused in how they can make the culture inclusive and all, like Hyatt. If I'll give an example of Hyatt, now they are focusing 80 more than 80% general manager of Hyatt, they are focusing all the general manager has to be woman. So that kind of cultures they are bringing. So that is also one of the important role which is also play very important
Nice.
addition
Very.
to the-
So when you talked about DEI, I think another example of or another perspective
And ma'am, chef
about
is also very important play
also
because
very important. Thank you,
very
Monalisa, for
important.
bringing that.
Chef, executive chef.
Also very important. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you both work in hospitality, in hotel industry, but I think Jagannath ji or I can come as a customer, right? So for us, the most important thing will be how the food is and how I'm being taken care, right? So these are the two key people. For you, of course, I understand you are coming from the internal perspective where you think sales or branding, if they don't go out, they don't talk about it, you don't get business. But for any customer, your customer is only be acquired because of these two things. How is the food and how is the hospitality there, right? So
True, ma'am.
who is catering those two things is your key position for that particular business, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's how we identify that, and that's how the focus starts. And very simple example, like if we talk about the hospitality industry itself, especially in COVID times, they were struggling, and then we saw that most of them have gone for cost cutting. The kind of staff they used to have earlier, suddenly the quality has gone down. Of course, they had their own reasons. So we are like, very, what we call that, the customer, what do we call that? Loyalty, right? That loyalty we have with Marriott. And across the world, wherever we go, Marriott
Had
is
a
our
cult.
first
Yes.
choice.
Yes. Yes.
But, and anytime if we have used any other hotel, we were always able to compare that the kind of training they gave, the kind of, the hospitality we received there, the kind of food they serve. But after COVID, we have seen lots of change happen. Their focus has, disturbed from those two. And now we can see that the quality is not what it was earlier. And immediately people preferences will change, right? So if others are able, others like what to talk about other hotels now, most of the hotels are under Marriott. If we take any name that will come under Marriott only. But
Route, all star route property.
yes,
Wasting, everything has been taken over here.
taken over by Marriott only. So, but the thing is, the quality is not that. The way they were handling their customers or their guests earlier, that's not there, and that's very obvious. So immediately your business or your customer will see that, and your business will be impacted because of that. What is that particular role? That role is the key position. So anyone else has any example from their organization? I think Mohini did not say anything. Sudhakar has joined us now. Deepu did not unmute himself or herself. I'm also not aware about that. And they didn't talk anything. Anyway, so whenever you guys feel comfortable, please unmute yourself and talk. The another perspective is developmental perspective. So developmental perspective will focus. So far we were talking about the key positions. But now this aspect says then that we just not only focus on how they are performing. Based on that, we say that, they are the key roles. We also see the potential for those roles or potential for those people. Last time, I think Sunil was there in the call. He said, he talked about PNP, performance and potential grid. G introduced that to us. So performance talks about the past performance, right? If you want to appraise anybody for their performance, what will you do? What can you see when you want to see somebody's performance? How do we evaluate performance?
Activity, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else? Hello.
Is it ROI?
ROI, okay. So when we talk about performance, it is all about past, right? Somebody has done something, and that's the performance, right? You performed is your performance. But when we talk about the potential, it has more to do with the future, what you can do in future. So when, and there are organizations who are not able to gauge that. They're not able to gauge somebody's potential. They are still focusing only on first P, that is performance. If focus is only on performance, what you have done, and your bonus is based on that, right? Your, what was ROI, and your bonus is based on that. They're not able to see this year, probably you were not able to contribute that much. And there were some reasons, because we are talking about, continuous feedback, continuous interaction with manager, continuous involvement of line manager. We are talking about all those practices nowadays. So all those should give you a clear picture that, okay, the performance was not that good this year, and they hence, the reasons were this. So probably somebody was having something important event in the family, something happened like life events. Somebody was not well for some reasons, and that's where the performance dropped. So there can be different reasons. But you also know that person's potential. You're continuously working with that person. You know that this person can really do well. Have not done, maybe these are the reasons, right? So you always try to bring those two aspects. But if you'll go blindly with the past only, you were given these were the KPIs, how many of them were achieved, and based on that, this is your percentage. So you have done 100%, or you have done 50%, you have done 70, 80, 120%, whatever it is, right? are we equally focusing on what if you have not done it this 100% this year, you have only done it 50% or 70%, but we know you have a potential to do it far better in the next year. And that's where we'll also consider that, and your appraisal will not be hampered just because you have not achieved 100%. Do we do that? And that's where the role of
Madam,
Yeah, Jagannath.
efforts that have been put by the employee also needs to be considered. Outcome, okay, depends on various factors also, which may be beyond the control of that particular employee. So efforts and sincerity, integrity, all other factors needs to be valued much more than the outcome in special
Needs to be.
circumstances.
Needs to be. Yes,
Needs to
but
be.
organizations are doing that or not?
Huh?
But organizations are doing this or not?
Yes, they are doing. Say, for
Hmm.
example, typically in the COVID time, what my organization has done exactly the same thing. Even for the persons whose performance or whose remuneration was directly related to performance, they have relaxed the norms for their performance because of the circumstances which are beyond the control of those particular employees. So they are doing, definitely they are doing. The organizations who value people, they do value the people's qualities as well, people's efforts as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing that. And that's where I said the developmental perspective. So organizations who have developmental perspectives, whose focus is more on developing their employees, their focus will be more on the potential side as well. So they'll not just, and you rightly said, very good example of COVID, like you could, वो कहते हैं ना दूध का दूध पानी का पानी, right? So that happened in COVID time. You understood the real side of organizations. Who are the organizations really value driven, and who are the organizations just counting every penny from their employee, right? So there are external factors who can impact your performance, but how internally you are a capable person, you have that potential to do that. Is it being identified or not, or is it being developed or not? Your potential, the focus of development is the potential or not. That also come from the talent management if your perspective as organization is that. And the last I would talk about the change management perspective. When organizations are going through lots of changes, then how talent management, like then their focus is completely using talent management as an agent for that change, right? So the whole focus of talent management shift to the change management. How talent management is facilitating the change which is happening in the organization at that particular time period, right? So these are different perspectives organizations may have. At the same time, they may have 3-4 of them. Their focus can be only one particular in a given period of time. They may also have all together in the organization, right? But if they are already doing something good in one area, probably the other area can be their focus, right? With that, if we come back to this scope part and say, okay, let's talk about how talent management is helping in recruitment, performance, learning and development, and retention. A very good exercise I have given in my book on the learning and development aspect. I'm sure you get the book immediately after this class today, for sure. And then look into that exercise. A very, very nice model is given how you can put all those things into planning and then bring it out. I'll give you that as homework after giving the book, and let's have that discussion in the next class. But before that, let's focus on the recruitment side. So if we are talking about using talent management and identifying the right people, and then then developing them, then looking on the performance side where performance and potential both are being looked and all. Very rightly, I think Jagannath ji started with that internally how we are strong with our processes. So it's not just about JD. I take you to the other aspect. do we have the right alignment of values with the applicants? Right? How many times we really focus on this aspect? We have, every organization has certain values. And here I again want to hear your, probably let's have this as an exercise. Can you put your organizational values quickly on paper, and please unmute yourself and share with us what are the values of your organization? All of us have values. In my current organization, we have 12 principles, long list. Do you have core values of your organization?
It depends as to why and how the organization is formed or established. Say, in my case, my organization was formed by the government to consolidate the private life assurance companies in India way back in 1956. So, accordingly, it was considered as the social concept, life assurance. So, the values were different. If had this company been private since post 2000 era, if we can see, they are typically for the profit motive. So, motive for establishment decides its values, vision, mission, and other things. So we
Right.
value people more and profit less. So it depends on that. Thank you.
Thanks for that. But I'll make it very simple. If you do not, I'm sure all of you, most of you are from HR, and then that should be the first thing. And not, even if you are not from HR, if you are an employee of a company, that should always be on your tips. What are the core values? But if that's not the case, please go ahead, open the website of your company and just give me those exactly mentioned core values on your website. So I'm not asking you in depth. I'm not asking you the details of that. Can you just give me what are the core values mentioned for your organization on their website? And whoever wants to start can just unmute and start.
Like say, for example, again, I'll refer key to mobilize the savings of the people. This is the first and foremost object of our company. And to provide them the better return. So, because the motive was different, that's what I'm talking.
No,
Had this been any private insurance company, it would have been definitely something else. They would have said to cater to the needs of people. So catering to the need of people is different, and then to mobilize the savings is something different. That's what I take. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also at the same time to provide them better return. Okay.
Okay.
Better return may not be the need. Better return is something the organization is doing on its own for people by saying other private insurance companies, what they will say no, we want to cater to the needs of the people, insuring people, insurable people. But in this case, since it is started itself as the social concept or social organization or to protect the interests of the insuring public, so definitely it is different. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. If I ask you the next question, saying that when we hire or when we want people to be part of that organization, how do you assess them on the basis of whatever you have just said, Jagannathji? So I'll come to you again to get the response to this question. But I see Daisy has mentioned in the chat saying innovate and excel is their company's value system. Then Nirja has given, 1 second, because it's an image, okay. So teamwork, ownership, respect and empathy, integrity, spirited fun, and excellence is Lemon Tree's core value. Thank you for sharing that. Others, it's good if you unmute and share about it. Otherwise, what they have done, putting it on the chat window, that's also fine. I can read it out for others. What are the core values of your company? And just out of curiosity, is there anybody who is from the recruitment team, from the hiring team, talent acquisition team in this group?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So Prashant, would you like to put what are the values?
Probably the excellence, the delivery excellence, then innovation, uh, integrity, quality.
Okay.
So there are some core values which, as a service-based industry, we are focusing on, we are delivering on that.
Okay. Okay, fine. And you are also in recruitment, you said. Daisy also said she's in recruitment.
Yes.
She is in
Yes, I mean,
hiring side. Okay. Okay. I'll come to my next question then. Before
sure.
that, I'm looking from other side. So Sudhakar already shared good corporate citizen, professionalism, quality focus, customer first, and integrity of the individual. That is these are the core values of his company. Others, Angela, Mona Lisa, Mohini, Deepu. What are the core values of your company? Very simple question. If you don't know, you can always quickly go and, find out from the website, your company's website.
In my case, core value is not been published in the website, but then again, what we have taught in this organization, like empathy, integrity, quality, customer centricity, these are the core values on which we work.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay. Anyone else? I'll come to you, Angela. Okay, so if no one else is responding, the next quick question. How do you take care that each and every employee you hire for your organization is aligned with your core values? Do you even take care of that? First thing. And second thing, if you take care of that, if you think about the alignment, how do you take care? What do you do to find out if the person is aligned with that value system? If not all, at least a few of the value systems or not.
Ma'am, I would like to respond to this.
Yeah, Prashant, please.
So probably what usually we do that whenever we have an HR discussion, so we do mention about what the company is, what is our culture, what are values, and what is our strength and other things. So where we just highlight about the values, and probably once they join us, then probably we would probably we would share as a team what exactly we have done and how the values have been inculcated in the team, or how they have been able to demonstrate, and how we are following in our daily work. And probably that is what I
All that,
see.
yeah, all that is after joining. So I'm not asking anything about the orientation training. In orientation, we want to, the first thing is sharing about the values. I know that, right? First session will always be about vision and mission of the organization, the value system of the organization. That's all fine. But when we hire people, when we are approaching them to be part of your organization, what is that we look for? And how do we make sure we'll be able to hire the right alignment, the right culture fit for our organization? And that's where that part comes, which question last time I think Advani ji asked, that how do you identify the talent? So it is not about identifying the best talent. IITians are sitting outside and I want to bring them to my organization. That's not about identifying the right talent. Will IITian fit into my organization or not? That's the important question, right? There, you will find out few organizations who are very clear that they want to hire mediocres, right? They don't want to go for
Yeah, like culture fit fitment is there. I mean, I'm not directly from, I mean, very directly from talent acquisition team, but as generous profile, I have also recruited. But then where we could see the culture fitment is the culture of my organization is fitting with the culture of and I am not very sure. We do have some psychometric assessment as well during recruitment, which gives out a total candidature profile. And indirectly, that also help us to understand the profile of the candidate that is fitting with the culture and the job, I mean, job fitment and the culture of the organization. So these are there before taking candidate, before onboarding candidate. So yeah, from my part, this much I can say.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for sharing that. Yes, others, I'm waiting to hear from you. Daisy, you are from the hiring team. So, and you said exhale and innovate, I think. Yeah, innovate and exhale. How do you take care of that when you hire people?
Oh, if I should say about that, ma'am, let's not talk about any JD or their technical expertise and all that. But it is only what do I say? The way they respond to the interview at the time of interview. Um, we can gauge the person as to what is their zeal and what is their drive. And yeah, I mean, though the technical part plays a major role, but also the person's mm, how do I put it across? I'm not getting the right word for that. Uh,
So more of psychological analysis
yeah,
happens.
yes, it's more of a psychological analysis which we do, and we've got about 3 levels of interviews for almost in every function. So in these
Okay.
three, the final, I mean, the first two will definitely be the technical part. The final part is the HR part. So that is where we do that psychological assessment of the candidate.
Okay.
And
And Daisy, just to, out of curiosity, what happens if you think that the person is not right fit for the culture, but you already got excellent feedback from the hiring manager, from the other
hiring manager, yeah, you're right.
technical.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, from the hiring manager, yes. Like if HR is not, we just put it across to the hiring manager saying that this is not going to be the right fit because of the reasons. We have definite reasons where we justify that this is not going to be the right fit, and this candidate is not going to be I mean, the right person for the job. So we have got our justifications, and we say, and yeah, we put down the candidate. It does happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Good if you are able to do that. But what I see in, today's desperated times when, we are just looking for the right technical skills, and it is so damn difficult to find out the right talent in terms of technical knowledge. Um, level 1, level 2, level 3 generally dominate so much that HR is not able to take a call about that. And that's happening in most of the organizations, even as per the research, not just by my experience also.
Yeah.
Right. So again, we boil down to that same point. How much cultural fit we are looking when we hire somebody. And that's where the real identification happens. Real identification first from the external world. So it is like, as we talk about our body. So it's not what do you look from outside or how much makeup you put or how do you, dress up. It is more how internally you are cleansed, what you are doing for your body internally, right? That's what we talk about. Similar thing when we are talking about talent management, when we are talking about using talent management as a right tool, it is not more how do you identify people outside, where is the right market, how you can, compete with your competitor to win that war of talent. It has more to do if I am clear what I really want to hire from outside and for what I want to hire them from outside, right? Are my processes, my objectives, that clarity is there or not? And for that, the first and foremost thing is, am I hiring people who are fitting well into that culture or not? There can be great people available, And I think lots of examples about that where these startups, they started hiring very senior level people from MNCs, big MNCs, established enterprises, and so on. But very soon they started seeing the impact, because people who are working with established enterprises, they're so used to offset processes. It's really difficult for them to work in a startup culture. So hence, it plays a very important role, right? So because of that, they didn't survive, they didn't work, stick for long, they changed the job, and then they realized, okay, because we are a very different setup, startups are a very different setup, they'll go and hire freshers, maybe from big B schools, maybe, who they really feel they are talent, but not yet experienced in a very set environment or very process driven environment, and so on, right? So it plays very important role. So in recruitment, and then you said, Daisy, that we gaze that, we'll do it through psychological analysis and all. Probably you as HR can do that, but are we training our hiring managers for that, our interview panelists for that, or not? That's equally important. Do we have a right set of tests developed for our culture? It is not just a culture fit test utha liya kahin se, and then you apply that, because that's not based on your own culture. So based on your core values, do you have a right test available which can understand if the person is really fitting into that culture or not? That's one very important aspect of talent management. So I think I have covered from my end what I wanted to cover today. If anything else is there from your side, you want to share something, you want to ask any question, let's focus on that. Nisha has given lots of uh, you know, values and what we required, right? Talent management, service orientation, teamwork, and so on. Thanks for all that, Nirja. Yes, Jagannath ji, please go ahead.
Considering the nature or type of the human resources, or which is related to our subject, talent management, it should be given much more importance than any other resource, may it be capital, may it be machinery, whatever. Human resources needs to be given much more importance, and companies, as far as today we discuss about the attrition and other things, so much importance needs to be given for this. Whether, according to you, your experience, companies are uh, providing this much attention to HR. Please elaborate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so again, there is no fixed answer for that, Jagannath ji, right? Organizations have focus on different aspects. Some organizations have really understood the worth or the importance of HR. They know why it is important to focus, why it is important to bring talent management, why it is important to have your HR continuously updated. Why do you have to give a seat to your on the table, or on the C suite to your HR as well? Why they should have the place in your C suite? Organizations have understood that, and they are giving that importance. I have seen organizations where HR is highly strong function. I have also seen organization where HR is just for the sake of doing recruitment hona chahiye, training ke time pe training hona chahiye, payroll ke every last date of the month, pay should pay should go from HR's end. So just for the function sake, few of them are having them. Few of them are having, few of the organizations have them as a strategic partners, and they are playing very important role in these organizations, right? If I talk about my own previous organization, WD, HR had a very strong hold on every decision making, right? Everything we used to see from human perspective or from employees perspective, how it is going to impact. And then that way they are able to create, COVID comes, and then immediate decision is how you are going to take care of your employees, how they should, not just my organization, definitely many organizations started focusing on that, how you are going to take care of their medical needs, how immediately after COVID or in that period, organizations increase the insurance benefit plans for their employees. Earlier, we were like, okay, 3 lakh, 5 lakh is a very sufficient thing when we talk about insurance. But nowadays, organizations are not talking less than 10 lakhs because they know nothing will happen if you just get hospitalized once. 10 lakh is nothing for that, right? So immediately understanding the value of that and taking action, organizations are doing that. But there are organizations who are still not that aware, or their focus is, I think the whole scenario is about how much you have built yourself. Where are you in your business journey? It depends on that. Organizations who are on a very initial phase of their journey, they are still struggling to build their business. Their focus will more be on the business side, revenue side, not from the they want that the good people should come join them, and that's how their business is going to run. And especially service industry, you can't manage without your people, that, right? Not about just about the HR department or not, but your people are your strength. But since they're so much into day-to-day business, hustling with that, probably their focus is still not at the right place. They don't know how HR can contribute. But organizations who are on a little higher side of their experience now, they have already established, they started understanding the value, and they are really giving that value to HR. That's my personal experience. Others can share their experience if they have any different. Jagannath ji, I hope this responds to your question.
Yes, correct. I asked about the industry experience, so I wanted to know that, because again, it depends on the culture of the organization, whether the organization values their people or not. And again, what example I had given in the last session is about the Tatas, how they value the people, and like
Right.
Infosys also. Narayan Murthy said about Infosys staff that my assets every day go to home and return in the morning. So he used to call people the assets, and that is why
And you
he
have
admired.
to. Being in service
And
industry, you cannot ignore that, right?
but if you call them asset, then you can stop them being liability for you and your organization. That's what I feel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jagannath ji, for that. Okay, so with that, I think it's over from my side. Any other questions? Any thoughts? If nothing, then we can close and can meet.
Ma'am, just a question before we close. It's not
Yeah.
about the subject actually. It's about the project internship which we are supposed to take up. So how do we go about that? Is it that you are going to help us, or what is that? I mean, I just inquisitive because, like, anyways, we have to submit it in time. We have to do our preparations. So I thought I would ask about that.
So Jagannath ji, you have raised your hand to respond to her question, or you have any other?
No, not to respond, but the most important part is about your contact number and
Oh, yes.
email ID.
Yeah,
We want
yes,
the
ma'am. Even
material very, very urgently. We want the
very true.
material
Okay,
actually. If you
okay,
can
let
share it
me.
directly to us, that will be of great help, because I don't know how many more days it will take to receive the book from ISTD. 95814447. Just a minute. But email ID, how we can get the book, madam?
Sorry,
How we can get that book soft copy?
I have that.
Uh,
Let me quickly check with Sarita. If she's not able to send, and if she allows me, I will send it immediately.
just a moment. We lost your.
You can't hear me?
No, I can hear you. I was saying whatever you have typed in the chat box, that I lost. Poonam
POO,
PRADHAAN
yeah, POONAM PRADHAAN@gmail.com.
581 triple 4 times 475.
Yeah.
958 4 times 475. and POONAMPRADH@gmail.com. Please let us know, madam. Huh?
Yeah, sure,
And
sure.
if you can mail it to me directly, then I'll just text my email ID and mobile number to you. And please see to it that I get the book.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
okay,
last
sure,
time
sure,
also-
sure, sure, Jagannath ji. And
Thank you
Daisy,
very
for your question, quick response. I think this is your second year, sorry, second semester for all of
Third.
third. Okay, third semester.
Yeah, it's
We
the
have
third
a
one.
it's a 2 years program now.
No, I think this is the last semester. It's 18
And-
months.
And then your project should be for 6 months.
No, I think we completed this along with this semester. If I'm right, if everyone else can also.
Yeah. This semester only, I think we
Yeah.
are supposed to complete it.
Yeah, I
By
think
the
the-
end of semester, we should be in a position to complete the project as well. This is what
Yeah.
is
Okay. I
my
think there are some
perception is.
changes in the
Yeah.
diploma. So my bad. Because in our time it
And
was.
they have displayed the
Yes, Jagannath ji.
They have displayed the list of guides, but I think either they are not accessible or they have left something like that. On the website, they have displayed the list of guides.
Guides, yeah.
So,
So what you have to do,
if
you
you
just
can get
contact.
the information and let us know.
Yeah. So you can contact them. Or you can always check with Sarita, I think, if she can share the updated list with all of you. Unfortunately, I will not be able
Okay.
to help or guide anyone formally,
Oh.
given my, given my bandwidth, because whenever I have done it in past, I really want to give time as a guide, but now it's not possible. I'm very soon shifting my current organization and getting into a very, very senior role in another organization. So I can gaze that lots of things are coming up. So for that reason, I will not be able to promise to be a guide, but I can always help you in whatever way you want. Find out your guide.
That's
That's the
really
first thing.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
ma'am.
second thing is you have two choices of doing project. One is on 5 training programs and another is on HRD practices in your organization. So your guides can always share some of the, some of the guidelines, how you should work on that, how you should prepare that. And then on time to time basis, your guide will evaluate that and you submit the final report. That's how we used to do if there is no recent changes happened and I'm not aware of that. So
Okay.
I apologize.
Thank
for
you. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for that.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks for joining.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, let's meet in the next class. Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.